yeah, you see, what I'm saying is that yes, it is something that is desirable, which I have always said. I've never deviated from that. Deregulation is desirable because that is the sustainable way out of where we are. But also, the reality is that deregulation is going to come with some changes. And of course, when people have been used to certain behavioral patterns, you've been used to subsidy for this long, and you want to change that, you have to have some kind of change management process in place. You cannot just change the policy on everybody without looking at some of the problems that this might create. One of which is that we know that, okay, this is going to entail increase in price. And if this is going to entail increase in price of this product, how do we alleviate the problems that will come with this increase? This is not a mindless government. This is a government that really care about the Nigeria. So we have to really look at all these possibilities of how to at least alleviate the pains and the problems that this increase that might be occasioned by deregulation will bring. And that's why we are taking our time. And that's why it will not happen overnight. But I'm just telling you that there is a provision in the PIB that will make this happen. But we have to jointly ensure that we are able to come up with a workable way of making this happen. And that process is already ongoing. Now, the next other question, because I have not taken all the questions here with me. Now, the other questioner said, I think it was Channels, that asked about the race to produce more oil. I can tell you that is on. But of course, the production fluctuates. Before now, our production was, like you said, over 2 million barrels. But what is responsible for this drop? It was not necessarily because we didn't have capacity. But you know, we have OPEC quota issues. And we're a very responsible member of OPEC. We are celebrating 50 years of our membership. 50 years as Nigeria. We are celebrating 50 years of our membership of this organization. So because of OPEC quota issues, we came down to these numbers. But hopefully, with the global situation improving, we will ramp up and get to this 3 million that is our target. And today, we believe that we already have capacity for the 3 million barrels. But we have to be mindful of our international commitments, and that's why we are still where we are today. But I can assure you that we are in discussion with our partners and with OPEC to see how we can at least improve even our quota and begin to produce more. Now, you also asked about gas flaring. Sometimes this issue of gas flaring is exaggerated. Today, only 8% of our produced gas is flared. We have actually reduced gas flaring to about 8%, which is quite significant. It's a very significant reduction. And with the gas flare commercialization program, which has also been completed, we'll be able to bring down our gas flaring to 0. So we've done very well as a country. Sometimes we have figures, statistics that are a few years old. So we still say, oh, Nigeria is one of the highest flaring countries. But today, I can assure you that we are doing very well in this area. We are down to 8%, and we are also in the process of eradicating the 8% of these gas flares. Yes, we are, I can confirm that there are some discussions going on about Shell exiting the onshore. But this is just a portfolio rationalization process, which is not really against the investment environment. They are not just rationalizing their portfolio in Nigeria, they are rationalizing in other places as well. And this is a policy of Shell in most places. If you go to Scotland, Shell produced oil in Scotland. At some point, they stepped back and gave the assets to local people to produce. That is a Shell policy, which they are also trying to operate in Nigeria. But it is not because the Nigerian environment is not attractive. Shell is still very committed to this environment, they've told me, and they are still very committed to investing in Nigeria. And I can assure you, from my discussions with them, they are still very keen on OPL 245. NAOC is also very keen on OPL 245. But of course, you know that there are some legal issues around OPL 245, which needs to be unraveled so that we can move forward with it. In fact, I have been in discussion with the Attorney General, and I can assure you very soon we'll come out with a program for OPL 245. I don't know of any other company trying to exit Nigeria, but it depends on the policies of these companies. A lot of companies, especially on the onshore, they feel that the onshore is already mature, and they've been able to develop local competence here that can take over from them. So for a lot of some of these IOCs, their policy is when we've been able to develop local competence in a certain area, we give them that sector and move and develop other areas. So I think like Shell, what might happen is that some of these IOCs, if they see that they've been able to develop adequate local capacity in the onshore, might be willing to go offshore. But we don't really, I don't know of any company that is doing that now. But Shell has actually indicated that they will be willing to talk to us on how to exit the onshore. But of course, that exit is a process. It's not as if Shell will move away in one day. It's a process that we have to agree, and we are still in that discussion. Now, somebody asked about custom boss accusing NNPC of petroleum smuggling. What is it? I didn't answer which one?
Yeah. The cost of production.
The cost of production, whether it's down now?
Yeah, you said it's down, but we wanted to know how much is it currently?
Well, I won't give you specific figures, but I told you that we've done more than 5% reduction, and that right now our target is 10%. I thought that was adequate, because I can't get you to the numbers. Because first, the cost of production differs on according to the asset. Some assets, the cost of production might be lower than some assets. So we can't go discussing asset by asset cost reduction. Then custom boss accusing NNPC. You know, I always say that this issue of petroleum smuggling is as much our problem as it is a law enforcement problem. So I don't know if there's a blame game who done it, but I can assure you that we are doing quite a lot on this score on our side, and we are seeing the numbers reduce. Like I said, from 66%, we are down to 52. From 66 million liters, we are down to 52 million liters. Of course, with some occasional spikes, which we cannot really consider to be within the normal. So that's where we are. And I don't want to join issues with the customs boss. But it is as much a law enforcement issue as it is a problem of distribution. So all we require is collaboration between law enforcement and NMPC to reduce this problem, because I can't say much, but frankly, as a country, we cannot continue to be discussing this same issue as a problem and not solving it. So we have to ensure that we solve it. Law enforcement and the oil companies and the oil marketers must come together and ensure that we resolve this matter.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Sir, Honorable Minister, do we still take more?
Yeah.
Now I have the permission of the Honorable Minister. Now, if you had asked your question before, I would not